The idea of silver skyrocketing from $30 to $300 an ounce is not some wild fantasy. It's pure math, and the numbers are lining up fast. 2026 is shaping up to be a historic turning point, a moment when those who see what's coming will separate themselves from the crowd forever. Right now, while the masses are distracted and the mainstream media is silent, a select group of sharp, independent thinkers are quietly stacking silver, preparing for a surge that could leave everyone else in the dust. They know the truth. Supply is tightening, demand is exploding, and the window to act is closing. In this video, you'll discover the real forces driving silver's explosive potential and why, by the time the headlines catch up, the biggest gains will already be gone. So ask yourself, will you be someone who acted or someone who wished they had? But before we dive into why this is happening, let's address what the so-called experts want you to believe. Turn on any financial news channel or scroll through the usual investment blogs, and you'll hear the same tired lines. Silver is just a metal. You can't time the market. Expecting a 10x move is pure conspiracy thinking. These are the mantras of the so-called experts, the talking heads, who insist that silver is nothing more than a relic, a shiny distraction from the real opportunities in stocks and bonds. They'll tell you that precious metals are outdated, that only paper assets conveniently managed by the very institutions they represent deserve your trust. But let's be honest, these are the same voices who missed the housing crash, who laughed at Bitcoin, who told you inflation was transitory. Now they want you to believe that silver can't possibly break out, that the system is too stable, too controlled, for anything dramatic to happen. If you're skeptical of these narratives, you're not alone and you're not crazy. In fact, you're thinking for yourself, refusing to be lulled into complacency by the same crowd that's been wrong, time and time again. So if the mainstream is wrong, and they usually are, what's actually happening beneath the surface? Let's pull back the curtain and look at what's really happening. There are 5 unstoppable forces converging right now. Each one is powerful on its own, but together, they're setting up a perfect storm for silver that we haven't seen in decades. First, supply deficits. For years, mining companies have underinvested in new projects. The easy-to-mine silver is gone, and ore grades are dropping fast. We've now seen multiple consecutive years where more silver is being used than produced. The result? Physical silver is getting harder to find, and the shelves are starting to look bare. And when supply dries up, prices don't just rise, they explode. Second, the industrial demand explosion. Silver isn't just a shiny metal, it's a critical component in the technologies shaping our future. Solar panels, electric vehicles, 5G networks, AI data centers, and advanced medical devices all rely on silver's unique properties. This isn't optional demand. It's non-negotiable and growing every year. As the world races toward electrification and digital infrastructure, silver consumption is hitting record highs, with no sign of slowing down. Third, monetary madness. Central banks are printing currency at a pace that would have been unthinkable just a decade ago. Global debt is spiraling out of control, and inflation is quietly eating away at your purchasing power. In times like these, hard assets, real, tangible stores of value, become essential. Silver isn't just a commodity, it's monetary insurance against a system that's running on fumes. Fourth, the gold-to-silver ratio. Historically, during precious metals bull markets, the gold-to-silver ratio drops to 40 to 1 or even lower. Right now, it's stretched near 80 to 1. If history repeats, and it usually does, silver will have to dramatically outperform gold just to restore balance. That means the biggest moves are still ahead. And fifth, de-dollarization and Eastern accumulation. While Western media downplays silver, BRICS nations and central banks are quietly stockpiling physical metals and reducing their exposure to the US dollar. This isn't just a trade, it's a signal that the global monetary order is shifting. When the world's largest economies start betting on silver, it's time to pay attention. All 5 of these forces are converging right now for the first time in decades. This isn't hype. It's a setup that's mathematically and historically rare. Now, if you think a 10x move sounds extreme, let's look at what history actually tells us. If you think a 10x move in silver is just wishful thinking, let's look at the cold, hard facts. Silver has a history of shocking the world, and it's done it more than once. Back in 1979 and 1980, silver rocketed from around $6 to nearly $50 an ounce. That's more than an 8x move, triggered by runaway inflation and the infamous Hunt brothers cornering the market. The mainstream didn't see it coming, and by the time they caught on, the real gains were already made. Fast forward to 2010 and 2011. In the wake of the financial crisis, with central banks printing money like never before, silver surged from about $17 to almost $50. That's nearly a 3x jump, fueled by fears of currency debasement and a rush into hard assets. Again, the experts were left scrambling to explain what just happened. Even in 2020, when retail investors briefly targeted silver, the price soared over 50% in just a few weeks as physical supply dried up. Each time, the mainstream was blindsided. The conditions that drove those surges, monetary chaos, supply crunches, and sudden demand, are not only back, but even more intense today. But here's the piece of the puzzle they really don't want you to see. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Silver price manipulation? This isn't some wild-eyed conspiracy. It's a documented reality. On the COMEX, for every real ounce of silver, there are hundreds of paper contracts trading hands. That means the so-called price you see is often just a number on a screen, not a reflection of actual physical supply and demand. And it's not just theory. Major banks have been caught red-handed. JP Morgan, for example, paid a staggering $920 million fine for manipulating precious metals markets through illegal spoofing. Then there's the disconnect between paper prices and what you actually pay for physical silver. Ever notice how premiums on real coins and bars skyrocket, even when the spot price barely moves? That's the market's way of screaming that something's off. The truth is, these artificially low prices are a gift for those who know what's coming, a rare chance to accumulate before the dam breaks. When the paper market finally loses control, the snapback will be fast and brutal. And here, that's what those selling you silver ETFs and safe paper products never mention. Only physical silver in your hand is immune to Wall Street games. So knowing all of this, what happens if you decide to wait? Picture this. In one future, you decide to act. You start accumulating silver, even if it's just a few ounces at a time. Then, the move happens. Silver breaks out, and suddenly, your purchasing power isn't just protected, it's multiplied. While the world scrambles, you're calm, watching your foresight pay off. You're not just surviving the storm, you're thriving, part of the small group that saw it coming and took action. Now, imagine the other path. You hesitate, you wait for confirmation, or you listen to the same mainstream voices that always show up late. By the time silver's move is undeniable, premiums have exploded, supply has dried up, and the real opportunity is gone. The worst financial pain isn't losing money, it's knowing you saw the writing on the wall and did nothing. Every day silver stays at these prices is another day the smart money is quietly stacking, while the window for easy accumulation narrows. No one can promise the future, but the risk is asymmetric, limited downside, explosive upside. The real question is, will you act or will you watch from the sidelines? So what should you actually do about this? Here's what you can do right now. Start or keep stacking physical silver, whether it's coins, bars, or even old constitutional silver. If you can't buy a lot at once, dollar cost average your way in. Consistency beats waiting for the perfect moment. Always prioritize physical silver over paper products. ETFs and digital promises come with counterparty risk, but real metal in your hand is true security. Keep learning and stay plugged into communities like this one, where real information gets shared, not just recycled headlines. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your 2026 silver target. Let's see what this MoneyMind Hub Pro community is thinking. Smash that like button and subscribe to join the movement of informed stackers who refuse to be left behind. You now know more than 99% of people about what's coming. The only question left is, what will you do with that knowledge? Together, we're stronger. Together, we win. Please remember, this video is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Always do your own research and consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Investing in precious metals involves risk, and past performance is not indicative of future results.